Hey everybody, it's Melanie. Today I'm sharing a layout for Bramble Fox using a perspective from the April FoxBox. I'm also using this stencil from Bramble Fox called Circle Spokes and this stencil called Feathered. I just realized that first stencil looked blurry. I'll see if I can fix that picture. I'm going to be using the 49 in Market Artful Alena collection. There's the lovely perspective. And I pulled out that stencil, but I don't end up using it. I use that one, that's the Circle Spokes, and I use this one that is Feathered. Here's the Artful Alena collection. It's so pretty, and I'm using the pine, I'll see them closer in a minute. That's the pine needles, and I'm just going to take and do some, this is the Feathered stencil. I absolutely love it. I'm just going to do it around the page in a couple of different colors in different sections on the page because my thought is I'm going to do strips down the page, and that's what I ended up doing. And I used the torn edge stencil, torn edge template that's in the store to tear the papers, which you'll see in just a little bit. So when you're using a stencil like this, you just kind of want to use it in spots. You don't want to use, of course, the whole square unless you're like doing a card or something. You just want it to look kind of random. I end up covering the majority of my stenciling up, but I think I kind of do that a lot. This one is Spun Sugar. It's very, or is it Tattered Rose? It's Tattered Rose. Very, very light. Now I'm doing the spoke, and I'm fine with it being on top of that green. It's going to pick up a little bit of the color, and I ended up putting another pink on top of it too because that wasn't a corally enough pink. So I'm just going to go around the page and do different sizes. I don't guess I showed it, but I did go on top of it a little bit with the coral. What's that called? Taffy, saltwater taffy. Now I'm just putting some water on it that helps release some of the color so it's just not so perfect. I'm holding it up, squirting it with water, letting it run down, and then I took my paper towels and rolled across it to get it to let it dry where it was. So you just roll the paper towel across it. I'm using the green and the pine needles again, and I think that's cracked pistachio. I'm lying. That's cracked pistachio. And I'm just going to flick it around on the page, and then I will use a heat gun a little bit, and then I will also roll it with the paper towels. If you dry it with the heat gun, it lets the color soak in, and when you do it this way, you still get the color, but it's not as vibrant. Now I'm going to take some just plain white texture paste. This is plain old Ranger white texture paste. And I'm just going to do it in spots. I didn't line it up over any of the other feathered. I'm just doing it directly on top of it. And I really like that it picks up a little bit of the color of the ink. And you can tell it when it dries that it picked up some of the color. And you can kind of see some of it mixed with it and some of it underneath shining through. But again, I'm just going to go random spots on this. And you can smear it out flat. I leave it on kind of thick in spots just to give it more of a, like a rough brick, like a rough texture on this. So then we're going to set that aside, let that dry when I finish with this one. Be sure when you're doing these that you do not leave any texture paste or anything on your stencil. Here I just tore a bunch of the pattern papers. Y'all didn't need to see me do that. I tore a bunch of the pattern papers using the torn edge template that's in the store. And in this Artful Alena collection, there are some frames. So I pulled a bunch of the frames. Off camera, I sewed down the center of those stitches with a zigzag, a plain, a messy stitch. And this is my little grandbaby Rowan. And I put a couple of the frames behind his picture. This comes with it in the Artful Alena 49 in Market. It's just a little strip that looks like a bow across the page. And I'm just using my little, that's Scotch tacky glue in there, and I'm just going to glue that so it looks like there's twine tied around it, and it's really not. And then I'm just going to start layering all kind of things on top of this. I'm going to put some foam tape behind it. This is just 1-inch foam tape from scrapbook.com. I have those links in my Instagram page if you're interested in any of that. This is a T-square ruler. Just got it from Amazon. Sorry about that glare. Just never can get it right where there's not a glare on my picture. These are just elements that are in, there's a lot of ephemera in this pack. And so these are elements in there. I tried to put that in there, but it's too big, so I ended up cutting it. A lot of time on these frames, you can cut them in half and get one on one side, one on the other side. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put him down. Then we're going to take this other little frame. See, if you kind of hold it up over it, you can kind of see just roughly where you need to cut. So you can tuck that in there and it looks layered like you're using a lot of pieces when really you're using the same one and just making it fit. And you just trim it around just to get it to fit your project. That's all. Make it work for you. And I'm going to use a little bit of wet glue in a minute to make sure that stays down and in place. And we're just going to layer. That's the other part of the frame that I didn't use. You can see me kind of finagling with it. I don't know why. There you go. So we will continue to glue those things down in place. I'm trying to see if I can remember where we are next after this. I made this layout a couple of weeks ago and I totally forgot to do my voiceover and now I can't remember. It's a surprise for me and you what happens next. But we're about halfway through it now. So I love these little ticket things that are in that collection. I'm going to shove those down in there. And the stencils are in the store that are in there now. This is, like I said, the feathered and the circle spokes. The loveliest from the FoxBox. FoxBox, there's a FoxBox subscription monthly. And it includes a set of perspectives that you can only get in the subscription. And a FoxBox Plus comes with the different perspective titles every month and little petite perspective, small things, along with a stencil of the month and the little clear epoxy stickers that you can use on the paper snips. Paper snips have these little images that are 1-inch circle, and so you can clip those out with a 1-inch punch and then put those clear epoxy stickers on top and you make your own little embellishment. So that is the FoxBox and the FoxBox Plus subscriptions. You can find those at brambleffox.uk.co.uk, I think. You can just go to if you're in the US, you can just go to brambleffox.com. brambleffox.co.uk. That's what it is. And I'll have links at the bottom of this video too. So here I'm just adding in some little embellishments. I put a little one right there because the title, I want to put the lovely on top of that and it's kind of getting lost. So I'm just going to add, these are little ticket-like embellishments and I'm just adding those around just to add extra things. I end up adding a few little words on top of these. The one in the top up there says, "Hello, happy." And then I'm going to put one on the top left corner. It's going to say, "Be happy, be you." And then, of course, the perspective that I use says lovely. And then I'm going to use some little Heidi Swap letters below it that says blue eyes because he has the most beautiful blue eyes. So on the perspective titles, they're acrylic titles, and always be sure and take off, there's a coating, sometimes on the front, sometimes on the back, sometimes on both. And you can just use like your little pick you use on your silhouette mat, or you can use tweezers or your fingernail, the end of like your craft knife, and pull those sticky papers, protective coatings off before you glue it down. And always put the titles down with wet glue so you know that they'll stay and hold them down a minute. That little word I'm going to end up putting down, I change it because that one didn't show. This one says the best time. He was having the best time at the park. And we're going to put those, that's the letters. I didn't make you watch me put all of those down. I tried to do lovely blue-eyed baby boy. Didn't have enough for that. Then I tried to do blue-eyed boy. Didn't have enough. Then I tried baby, lovely blue-eyed boy. Nothing. So I had to end up just going with lovely blue eyes because, of course, I didn't have enough letters to finish it off. So a little bit more wet glue. Going to put that down. And you know what? Those aren't Heidi Swap letters. Those are letters out of I think a Pink Fresh kit from a while back, because they had the different shades of blues on there. So in this kit from $49 in Market. Y'all, they have rub-ons. I've not used rub-ons in years. So I just kind of messy cut some rub-ons and just to put in the corners where it looks like I really stamped it. One of my friends was looking at it and she thought I had stamped all that and inked it when it's really these rub-ons. And that is my old faithful basic gray rub-on tool from 100 years ago. So we're going to add these few little bit of rub-ons on there. You just want to make sure that you get them all good and down and lift up slowly, because you can always go and add more pressure. So I'm going to put a few of these on. These just have like some script and some little butterflies, and they were just perfect to add in to give it more of a mixed media look, since I did cover up the most of it. So again, I'm using the lovely title from the April FoxBox. The May FoxBox is out in the store now, and it is fabulous. If you haven't been to the shop lately, go to Bramble Fox, and there she has added so many new amazing things into the shop. These like little laser cut chipboard pieces, the stencil books, some new brushes, some little pins that you can hang things from, just new stencils, so much stuff. All kind of new perspectives, like a ton of new perspectives. Bramble Fox stencils are some of my favorite. They're such a good thickness. So this should be my last little set of rub-ons that I'm going to do here. Just down in the corner, they're just some little script words. And kind of overlap them a little bit over the texture paste. Oh, I'm lying. I'm going to do a little set over there. And again, I'm using the lovely from the April FoxBox. I'm using the circle spokes stencil, which is so versatile. Several girls have made flowers out of those. They're really cute. And then the feathered stencil, which I've used a lot of that feathered stencil. And you can find all of this at Bramble Fox. You can follow all of the designers on Bramble Fox Instagram. Follow us on Bramble Fox Friends. Morag and I are going, I'm so excited to join her every Monday now for Marvelous Monday. You can find the information in the Bramble Fox Friends. Here's my finished layout. I really thank y'all for watching it today and hanging out with me. And I will see you again soon. Stay tuned to Bramble Fox Friends and the Bramble Fox shop to see all the goodies, and be sure to check out that sub. See y'all soon. Bye-bye.